Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the points of small and the large intestine that are of practical importance for the students in the practical examination. In the practical examination, students may be asked for the identification of the given specimen, and so they have to just identify the given specimen and just know the and you should know um, the things and the points that would help them to identifying the given specimen. And we are discussing here the small and the large intestine. Suppose if the given specimen of the intestine, and you first of all you have to just identify the given specimen whether it is small intestine or large intestine. uh, the, there are very few characteristics that you should know that would help you to identify the given specimen of the intestine. Large intestine overall, that is bigger in diameter, its lumen is bigger, and it has got some features that are very peculiar to the large intestine, and you would not find these features in the small intestine. If these features that are found in any given specimen of the specimen intestine, it means it is a large intestine. There are few things. First of all, there must it if the large intestine must be having the big lumen. Its lumen must be bigger as compared to the small intestine, and apart from it, the presence of circulation, there must be circulation in the large intestine. Circulation means there is a pouch like appearance over the wall of the uh, external surface or external surface of the wall of the large intestine, and you would find the circulations, the pouching at the surface of the wall of the large intestine. And this type of circulation, the pouching like appearance, that this is very specific feature of the large intestine, the circulation, and we call it the circulation of the large intestine, and you would find only in the large intestine. Another type of specificity and some salient feature, that is the presence of the appendices epiplysi. What are the appendices epiplysi? Actually, appendices epiplysi are actually these are the fat filled bags of the peritoneum that are found over the surface of the wall of the large intestine, and you would not find this type of structure in the small intestine. This is the very exclusive feature of the large intestine. Here it is a model of the GI tract, and you can find this is this pink type of the loops of the intestine, that is the small intestine, and this greenish and the big narrow the big lumen intestine, that is the large intestine. It is the appendix vermiform, and this is the cecum ascending colon, and this is the transverse colon, and this is a descending colon, and the sigmoid colon actually, and the large intestine that becomes the rectum, and it opens to the exterior by the anal canal through the opening over the skin. So this is the model, and this model is not so illustrative that you can easily just appreciate the differences between the small and the large intestine. If you know uh, the characteristics that are very specific to the large intestine, if you are given a specimen that is having the circulations, its lumen is larger, and it is having the fat filled bags of appearance structures, that we call it the appendix epiploicy, and the muscular bands of the longitudinal muscular bands, and we call it the tinea coli. Tinea coli, these are the longitudinal muscular bands that you would find over the surface of the wall of the large intestine, that are very specific to the large intestine The presence of these three features, very exclusive features, that is the sacculations, another is the appendices epiploicy, and the third is the tinea coli, that you would find exclusively in the large intestine. If these exclusive features are found in any given specimen, it means it is a large intestine. After just knowing the large intestine, and you have to know what are the features that are very specific to the small intestine. uh, there are these features that you should bear in your mind, that would help you just identifying the large intestine from the small intestine. First of all, the small intestine, actually it begins from the pylorus to the ligaments of the trites, or it is called as the duodenojejunal flexure also. Here it makes the duodenojejunal flexure, and the identification is the ligament of the trites, and this and basically the duodenum that ends here, and the duodenum starts from here. So the intestine, the identification of the small intestine, basically that is made by the uh, presence of the microvilli, or villi, that is the finger like mucosal folds, or finger like projection you can see with your naked eyes. If you open the lumen of the small intestine, and you would find there is a finger like projections, that we call it the villi, of the small intestine. And this villi is very specific feature of the small intestine, and you can only find these structure in the small intestine, and you would not find the villi in the large intestine. If a given specimen is having the finger like projection in its lumen, it indicates the small intestine. And another specific characteristics of the small intestine, that is the presence of the circular mucosal fold, and we call it the valve of the Kerckring, or plici circularis. These are the circular mucosal fold you can easily find in the lumen of the small intestine. That is also very specific feature of the small intestine. You cannot find this type of the structure in the large intestine. So the presence of the villi and the presence of the mucosal folds of plici circularis, that is specifically found in the lumen of the small intestine. And other thing, now you just knowing, just that you have just identified whether the given specimen belongs to the small intestine. Now the another things that you should just know which part of the small intestine. Small intestine is basically that is divided into three parts: the duodenum, jejunum, and the ileum. Duodenum is the very widest and the smallest, and the proximal part of the small intestine. It is about 25 centimeter in length, and it is C-shaped. It is a fixed structure. You can easily find it. And after just there are, and you can you would find the plici circularis in the lumen of the duodenum also. And basically the plici circularis are very few in the proximal part of the duodenum, but after when you go away from the proximal part of the duodenum, you would find the plici circularis are more closely packed, and they are more closely found in the lumen of the small intestine, especially in the duodenum and the jejunum. But the plici circularis are very few in the ileum also. Jejunum, actually that comprises 2/5 of the length of the small intestine, and the ileum comprise 3/5 part of the length of the small intestine. The 2/5 of the length of the small intestine that belongs to the jejunum, and it is the proximal part of the small intestine as compared to the ileum. And ileum is the distal part of the small intestine that comprises the 3/5 of the whole length of the small intestine. As you know, what are the distinguishing features, and with the help of these features, and how would you just distinguish the jejunum from the ileum? First of all, the jejunum, the lumen of the jejunum, basically the jejunum starts from the duodenojejunal flexure, or the very specific location. It is the presence of the ligaments of Treitz, and from where the duodenum stops, finishes, ends, and the jejunum starts actually. And jejunum starts. The jejunum is having its lumen is bigger as compared to the ileum, and its lumen is bigger, its wall are more thicker, more muscular, and it has more vascularity. That's why it appears to be reddish in color. So these are the features, and that actually distinguishes the jejunum from the ileum. It has wide lumen, and most of the time the intestinal content is not found in the lumen of the jejunum. It is not loaded actually. Its lumen is bigger, its wall is more thicker, it more vascular, more vascular, more muscular. That's why it appears to be pinkish or reddish in color. If you actually see the mesentery that is attached to the loops of the jejunum actually, so you would find there are very few arterial arcades that are found in the mesentery of the jejunum, and the vasa recta are fewer, but they are larger in the mesentery of the jejunum. And the mesenteric fat is thinner. That's why it is you can see through it, and it is transparent type. It is not very clear transparent, but the light can easily go through it. So it is not that is because of it does not have lot of the fat content inside it, and its fat content does not actually cover the encroaches the wall, because it does not have lot of fat. So the fat does not encroaches the wall of the jejunum. It has more plici circularis actually. It has more villi as compared to the ileum, and as we go more farther from in the small intestine, and the presence the number of the plici circularis and the villi, they actually become more scarcer, more fewer, more smaller. In the ileum actually plici circularis are found, but they are very flat. They are not very pronounced. They are very flatter as compared to the proximal part of the small intestine, that is in the jejunum. And its lumen is smaller as compared to the jejunum, and its wall is thinner. And if you actually compare the thickness of the wall of the jejunum and the ileum, and you would find the wall of the ileum is much thinner as compared to the wall of the jejunum actually, and it appears to be paler because of the less vascularity and its mesenteric fat that is so much, and it has lot of mesenteric fat, and it is so much fat and most of the times and always it actually encroaches the wall of the small ileum actually. In the jejunum the fat is not so much, and it does not encroach the wall of the jejunum. Here you can easily just identify the which loop of the small intestine that is of jejunum and the ileum, because of knowing all these features that I have told you. Its lumen is smaller as compared to the jejunum, its wall is thinner, it is not so muscular as compared to the wall of the jejunum. Its mesenteric fat is so bigger and so pronounced that it can be it is found just encroaching the wall of the ileum also. And apart from it, so these are the features. If you know these features, and uh, you can easily identify the different types of the small intestine. And if you and you have just distinguished the different part of the small intestine, or as a whole small intestine to the large intestine, just knowing these types of identifying features. And if you do radiography, actually barium meal follow through, and because of the presence of large number of the villi that is found in the jejunum, jejunum is a finger like projection that gives actually the uh, feathery appearance to the intestinal lumen. If the barium meal in the barium meal follow through, when the dye actually that passes through the lumen of the small intestine, especially the jejunal loops, it makes the feathery appearance. In the x-ray film, you would find there is a feathery appearance, and it is called as uh, the feathery appearance. That is the indicative of the presence of the jejunum. But the ileum is not having, and this type of is not having lot of very pronounced villi. And the plici circularis, is also called as the wall of the Kirk ring also, or it is a transverse mucosal fold. So these structures are not very prominent in the distal loop of the small intestine, that is the ileum. So if you do the barium meal follow through, a barium meal follow through is a it is a diagnostic technique through which the barium meal that is the patient is asked to just swallow this barium sulfate, and this barium sulfate material that passes through the small intestine, different loops of the intestine. And when we actually take the x-ray film, and so when it passes through, and we can take the x-ray, and we can just throw the x-ray, and we can take a film, and you can know the interior of the lumen of the intestine with the help of this type of the test. We call it the barium meal follow through. The ileum appears to be characterless. So this is the in the x-ray radiograph, and the x-ray film, and ileum appears to be characterless. There is no structure, it is not very structural appearance that you can find in the x-ray. So with these features, and you can just understand the difference between the small intestine and the large intestine, or the different parts of the small intestine. This is all about the small intestine and the large intestine, the points that are of practical importance for the students in the examination. Thank you.